What's good, guys? Welcome back to another video. We're going to get into the intraday setup for Bitcoin today. One thing's for sure, it's looking a little bit more straightforward compared to yesterday, where, we had a reason to believe that it was going to find support somewhere and go up. But at the same time, the intraday, kind of signals were pointing towards the downside yesterday. So ultimately, we ended up on a loss yesterday, which means that puts us down to 154 out of the last 192 trades that I've called on Bitcoin. Now, I personally lost the trade on Bitcoin yesterday as well. So overall, we still tend to be right a little bit more often than we're wrong. So if you're new to the channel, you're in the right place. But otherwise, before we get into it, guys, there's 3 days left before Blueprint closes. The guys that have already joined Blueprint in the last week or so have already started getting results in a week. And these guys range from absolute beginners to people that have already been trading for a while, but they just, couldn't figure it out or how to get consistent. One thing's for sure, if you've been doing this for a while and you haven't, seen the results that you have wanted to see from trading yet, give Blueprint a try, right? There is a reason why I have so much conviction on this. It genuinely works. Best case scenario, you join and you get funded within the next couple of months and you're off to achieve everything that you set out to achieve with trading. You've already seen it from all of the success stories that I've been sharing for the past couple of weeks. Now, the worst case scenario, you don't like it, you don't seeing results from it or whatever, you ask for a refund, right? Simple as that. So yeah, check it out. We have 3 days left, but otherwise, let's get into the intraday setup on Bitcoin today. I'm also going to talk about a couple of Forex setups because I think there are some promising ones today. But just kicking these off, yesterday, Bitcoin managed to bounce from this fair bit of gap right here, which is probably the reason why our trade ended up getting stopped out. It is what it is though. The intraday signal was still pointing towards the downside yesterday. So, we trade the system regardless. There are going to be losses. It's just, it's natural that it will have losses. But so far today is looking a lot more clean. Well, a lot more clear. It's so far not looking super clean, but let me explain, right? Either way, the daily bias is towards the upside. So we're going to be looking for longs today. Now, once you go into the 1 hourly chart, you start seeing a much better picture in a sense that once you filled in that daily fair value gap yesterday, you managed to get a CISD towards the upside. And then today, again, you got another CISD a couple of hours ago, which means that order flow right now is already bullish and it's looking very clean towards the upside. So right now, as long as price does not break below this order block right here, we would be looking for a long, just right out of here. Taking a look at the 5-minute chart, that CISD would probably come above, $75,000, assuming that, you don't continue just dumping. The setup for today is going to be super straightforward, actually, as long as you do not break below this order block. And when I say break, I mean you do not get a 1 hourly candle close below 74,600, then you're just going to be looking for a trade towards the upside. Keep in mind though that today is a non-news day, and when I say non-news day, I mean there is no red folder USD news. Today you have GBP news, but that's not going to be super relevant for Bitcoin. So the reason why I say that is because on a non-news day, ideally you want to be going half risk on your trade setups instead of full risk, because you're just dealing with slightly lower probability conditions. And obviously the intraday target for today is going to be at 76k. That's where we ended up going back on Tuesday. Just keep in mind that the weekly bias so far is also pointing towards the bullish direction, which means that so far we're still going to be able to take advantage of a weekly expansion. Now, the other thing that is kind of noteworthy is the fact that you've already had a liquidity sweep using this low. So this low is already a strong low, assuming that you don't start breaking below that low, and this long idea is going to be intact. But right now it's only 3:30 a.m. And as long as you get that CISD, you're free to enter as long as you're in a kill zone, which, by the way, if you don't know what kill zones are, it's basically 2 to 5 a.m. New York. That's the London kill zone. And the New York kill zone is going to be 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Depending on what time you watch this video, chances are you're going to be taking advantage of the New York kill zone. Now, I will be posting any updates on X later on, but just keep in mind, I will have a Blueprint live trading call, and, if I don't post on X, then probably it's because I am live trading with the guys in Blueprint. Yesterday, we had a bootcamp live trading call and we ended up getting 3 wins and 1 small loss. And the bootcamp members will be the first one to shout out. We usually make money on these calls. But outside of that, we're going to take a look at a couple of Forex setups because I think these are also pretty interesting. Now, on gold so far, you have, London. You have a bearish daily bias and London has already swept out the Asia highs. So this is a little bit more of a London setup. At the moment though, it's in the last couple of hours, we haven't really had much happening. But either way, you're going to be looking for a short setup today on gold. Definitely keep this in mind, as over here, you have a bearish 1 hourly PDRA, and who knows, you might come up and sweep this high again, but that would also make it a tree drives pattern straight into the same PDRA. If that happens and you get at CISD towards the downside during the New York session, this is going to be one banger trade. Now, the other one to keep in mind is going to be USD Canadian. Now, yesterday we had a solid trade. In fact, I just realized now that I've missed this trade, although I know not really. CISDs have already happened here. USD Canadian, you're looking super bearish. yesterday we already had a banger, but otherwise yesterday called it on the bootcamp live trading call. And so far, daily bias is still bearish. In the daily chart, you're coming back into a bearish order block. And right now on the 5-minute chart, during the London session, you've already had a CIC towards the downside. So right after I'm done with this video, I'm going to be hopping into a short. By the way, by the time you watch this video, if price is already kind of like breaking lower, doesn't mean that you're too late. It means that momentum is still really strong towards the bearish direction, and it won't be too late to just take advantage of newly formed order blocks and fair value gaps that form. So for example, right here, right, when price breaks below this level, this would become a new order block, and you can just take advantage of that. USD Canadian though, looking very, very clean, and Nasdaq, of course, Nasdaq and Australian dollar actually are looking pretty decent as well. Nasdaq is clearly heading for this liquidity level. Yesterday, 2 of our wins actually came on Nasdaq, just taking advantage of that bullish move. In fact, I will be happy to share it later. But for now, you're looking to come back into this PD array at what, 26,445. It's a bullish order block, and once that happens, you're good to go to just kind of catch along towards that daily target. And I know it looks a little bit far away, but keep in mind you are dealing with the Nasdaq here. Nasdaq usually moves a couple, $400 to $500, or rather 400 to 500 points in a single day, which is kind of what happened yesterday. By the time we jumped in, it was at 26, and we set a target at 26,250. So that's like 250 points. So that was the bigger win of yesterday. So overall, you're still looking pretty good. But now, let me just get into a couple of trade breakdowns so that, you can hopefully be able to achieve this more for yourself. Yesterday, prior to the 9:30 a.m. candle open, we saw a CIC towards the upside. So over here, I think that was a CISD, and price basically formed this order block over here. So I entered, placed a stop underneath the order block, and targeted for 2R. Now 2R just happens to align with yesterday's current daily high at the time. And yeah, this was win number 1. And then once I realized that after the 9:30 a.m. candle, you formed a new order block right over here. With this 9:55 a.m. candle, you formed a new order block. That's when I just placed the limit over there. On the very next candle, got filled, placed the stop loss beneath the order block, and then I targeted for a cheeky 3R, targeting that daily high. Now that was the second trade of the day. So just understand, as long as bullish momentum is present, this is how you kind of take advantage of it. And if you appreciate this lesson, drop a comment down below. And one thing's for sure, you're going to learn how to do this and more inside Blueprint, which is my full system, from not only just the technical analysis, but also primarily the psychology and the executional frameworks, because we all know that understanding or learning more technical analysis concepts does not always translate into wins. It's more about how you use them on a day-to-day basis. That's kind of what determines your success as a trader. But otherwise, I have to get going because I've got a really early reservation today at another Culinary Class Wars restaurant. So yeah, gonna go enjoy some life, and I'll see you guys later during the New York session. Ciao, ciao.